One of the biggest storylines coming into these NBA Finals, Steph's quest for a fourth championship and a first Finals MVP. So far, averaging, Steph, 31 points per game, right? Pretty good. But Warriors trailing 2-1. Skip has repeatedly said that Steph has come up small in the Finals and has now passed LeBron as the most overprotected superstar ever. Shannon, what do you think? Is Skip being a little unfair here?
Yes, he's being very unfair. Skip just refuses to acknowledge that Steph Curry is a historically all-time great player because of his size. Of the top 15 players, he's by far the smallest, and it's not even close. And I know how difficult it is sometimes for someone to accomplish something that's so far out of the norm. Normally, these guys are, like you said, if you want to take, for average, probably Jordan, Kobe, and maybe Oscar Robertson, if you have Oscar Robertson in your top 15 players all time. But those guys are 6'5", 6'6". You got Steph Curry all the way down 6'3", topping off at 6'3", maybe even 6'2", and some change. But he's a historically great player, and it's just hard for Skip to get around that. He's averaging 27 points a game in his finals career. That's more than Kobe, more than D-Wade, more than Larry Bird, more than Tim Duncan. I don't care what anybody says. He should have won the finals MVP in 2015. He goes 37 in Game 5, 17 in the fourth quarter. In the closeout game, he goes 25 in Game 6, 13 in the fourth quarter. So I just don't get how he's being protected, Skip. Because he played great, he averaged 27 and 28 in the finals in which KD was there. KD was great. KD deserved that. You can't punish, well, because you didn't win finals MVP, that means you're being protected because you should have won it over Kevin Durant. Everybody knows Kevin Durant was the best player on the team, although I don't believe he was the most important. Important and best are entirely two different things. KD deserved to win those finals MVP. Steph dropped 30 per game, even though he didn't have only had, for a quarter, KD for a quarter, and then he ended up losing Klay Thompson. So for me, Skip, I don't think he's being overprotected. I think the reason why you say he's being overprotected is because people don't nitpick and says, you know what, in Game 3, Steph Curry had 14 points. But if you go look at the first 3 minutes and 5 seconds of the ball game in the third quarter, he didn't do much. It was Klay. And because people don't nitpick to the degree that you do, because what you try to do is try to find one flaw. The guy scores 25 in the fourth quarter, and you'll find, well, he turned the ball over here. Well, he stepped out of bounds there. Well, he committed a foul. And so if someone doesn't get on the thing and says, well, you're right, Skip, that's what happened, you're like, oh, he's being protected. No, he's not being protected. He played great in the finals with the handful, and I give you 2016, 5, 6, and 7 for a player of his caliber. He came up small. But it's like Steph Curry is the only superstar, or you make it seem like all these other great players, like Larry Bird, never had a bad game. Michael Jordan never had a bad finals game. Kobe, Shaq, every player has had a bad finals or more than one bad finals game, Skip. And for some reason, it's Steph Curry. I get it. He's 6'3". And most people that dominate the game of basketball, it's a big man's game. He's not a big man. He's never going to be a big man, but it does not change the fact that he's a historically great player.
And what you refuse to acknowledge is that he has come up smaller than he even is again and again and again and again in the NBA Finals. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire. Okay. Am I nitpicking about the MVP of the league? I don't care if he's 5'2". I don't care how tall he is. All I know is that you are making the case right now he's on the verge of, the precipice of being ranked in the all-time freaking top 10 of this league. That is as offensive a concept as you have ever thrown across the table to me on this show. And I'm going to hark back. I went over it in the A block, but in 2015, his first finals, he is the MVP of the league. And look at the first 3 games. Tell me what happened. Am I nitpicking? He shot 11 for 34 from 3. That's 32%. He was 44% during the regular season, and that wasn't even one of his great shooting percentages from 3 in a regular season. But he did win the MVP, and he turned it over 4 times game 1, 6 and 6 in 2 and 3. He was the reason they fell in a 2-1 hole, and Iguodala lifted them right up out of the hole by taking a LeBron who had averaged 41 points a game in the first 3 and holding him to 20 in game 4 when LeBron came up even smaller than he was. with 20 points on 7 of 22, 1 of 4 from 3, and 5 of 10 from the free throw line. It changed everything. Changed his legacy. It changed the series. If LeBron had gone ahead and capitalized by winning Game 4 at home to go up 3-1, I think LeBron would have pulled off the greatest achievement, the greatest feat of his career, because solo act LeBron without Kevin Love for the whole finals and without Kyrie for everything but Game 1 and all the way up to overtime when he wrecked his knee. To be able to pull that off against Golden State would have been phenomenal. You could have actually started to make a GOAT case for him if he had finished that off. And thanks to Iguodala, he did not finish that off. So then we fast forward to 2016. And you acknowledge games 5, 6, and 7, but you act like everybody has a bad game. I'm talking about 3 games with a 3-1 lead, 2 of which were at home. And he is the unanimous MVP who shot 54% from 3 for the whole 82-game regular season. 54%. So 5, 6, and 7, he shoots 36% from 3, which is not bad by LeBron standards, but it's horrible by Steph Curry runaway MVP standards. And then we look at what happened in the fourth quarter of those games. He shot 25% in those 3 fourth quarters from 3. He was 3 of 12. It's all-time pathetic. And he got a pass for it because it was all about LeBron. LeBron and Kyrie came back from 3-1. Yeah. No, it was about Steph spitting the bit, choking his brains out with 2 of the 3 games at home, because we got to Game 7 at home. This is his house. This is his stage. Just close the deal, Steph. And he closed it by going 6 of 19 from the floor, 4 of 14 from 3. That's 29%. And he got to the free throw line 1 time and made 1 free throw. And by the way, in those 3 fourth quarters, he never shot a free throw in 3 fourth quarters. And then we get to the fourth quarter of Game 7, 1 of 6 from the floor and 1 of 5 from 3 with a huge turnover. And I've told you again and again, in fact, I think we have them. If we could show this again, this is Game 7 down the stretch. At 6:57, he actually made a 3 to tie. And then could we see his shots? This is 2016 Game 7 down the stretch. Here's his first one. This is, he misses a 2-point shot. That was to go up 1. And then 4:06, he's got a 3 and misses it wide left. That's to go up 3. 1:14 left. This is it. This is the money on the table. He hits nothing but backboard. That was to go up 3. And with 31 seconds left, he's got a chance to tie the game, and he shoots misses way wide left. That's Steph Curry. That's the unanimous MVP down the stretch. And everybody has a bad game. He had 3 all-time putrid games that everybody swept under the carpet because he's the baby-faced assassin. He's beloved little Steph Curry. And all he had to do in that summer was he led the contingent to go get a better player than him in Kevin Durant, which disqualifies him from the top 10 in my book, period, end of story. But we can go right on into 20.
Okay, Skip, you know what? I want him to debate that. If you say the reason why I cannot put him in my top 10 is because he got on a plane and he flew to go get another historically great player. If you want to say that's the reason, okay. But accomplishments and accolades, I don't believe outside of what you're saying, if that's your reasons why you choose to keep him out. I believe with accomplishments and accolades, if he were to win this game, win this championship, and he's the Finals MVP, that notwithstanding, now I'm not going to hold that against him. Some people might. Skip, I'm sure there are some people in the congregation, as you're speaking, saying, you know what, amen, Skip, I can't do that. I can't put him in the top 10 for the sole fact he did that.
Okay.
Okay, you got me.
Okay, but he had a chance to redeem himself in 2019 because Kevin Durant was hurt.
Right.
And obviously, Clay eventually wrecked his knee, but still, Kevin tried to come back in Game 5 and played for a little burst.
Played about 12 minutes.
And he looked like he was about to take the game over, and he tore his Achilles tendon, unfortunately. And Clay, at the end of Game 6, had a great game. He'd scored 30 points in that game, making 8 of 12 shots from the floor and 4 of 6 threes. So he was having one of those closeout Clay games.
Yes.
And he wrecked his knee. So the pressure fell on the slender little shoulders of little 6'3" Steph Curry to take over and hold the fort. And what did he do in Games 3, 4, 5, and 6 against Kawhi and company in the Toronto Raptors? He shot 33% from 3. Not 1 game, not 2 games. I'm not nitpicking even 3 games. I'm nitpicking 4 games. 4 games, he shot 33% from 3. That's 11 of 48 by a guy who in the regular season shot 45% from 3. It's all-time chokeable bad. It's all-time bad because it went all the way down to Game 6 after Clay had been hurt. Steph got a shot to win it all and force a Game 7 back in Kawhi's house, his, for a moment, house back in Toronto. And if we could see the shot he missed, he got a pretty good look. This is a legacy shot right here. This is your house, your time, nice play, set up, gets a pretty clean look for him, and he missed it wide right. Okay, you got to make some of those. Again, I'm not nitpicking. So I'm giving you thousands of nits to pick here that add up to a boulder. Yeah. I'm picking boulders. Okay. That's what I'm doing.
You said in 2015, you gave me his first 3 games. Now give me his last 3 games in which he averaged almost 30 points a game and averaged 26, 5, and 5 for the series. He should have won that MVP. I'll concede 2017-18, Kevin Durant deserved the MVP, but Steph Curry was playing out of his mind. He averaged 27 and 28 in a series. I don't know what else he can do more than that. Now, what you do, the problem is, Skip, is that you pick games. Now, if a guy has a bad 1 or 2 games and win the series, you don't like, well, look at the games that he played. Tom Brady plays a bad quarter.